Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters Club. I'm Sally Reyes, your Sergeant at Arms, acting today. And welcome, and please disconnect your telephone so they won't go off during our meeting. Thank you so much. And let us get back to our president, Talabana.
No, he's not here. Go to Cynthia.
It's me.
Cynthia, I'm sorry. Cynthia Stott, the outstanding, glittering, imaginative human in our life. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Sally. And I'm the charter president of Leaders Worldwide. And I want to welcome you, our members and our guests. And I want to share with you the Toastmasters International mission. We empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. And our international core values are integrity, respect, service, and excellence. Our club mission is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. And here at Leaders Worldwide, we were designed for politicians, business and nonprofit leaders, entrepreneurs, and others who want to make their message heartfelt, authentic, and ready for the worldwide stage. And I would like to welcome our guests today. I'm going to start with Robert. Hi, Robert. Roger Swenson. Would you like to introduce yourself to us? Hi, Roger. Maybe he's not available. Okay, we do have a Robert Ramirez.
Greetings, everybody. It's a real pleasure to be here, part of this Leaders Worldwide. And I was invited by Rosalind Khan, and because I have interest on being a better speaker, Toastmaster, and then eventually making it to the TEDx stage. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, and I'll look forward to some additional information in the future. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Robert. And I'll be sending you an email probably tomorrow morning connecting you with the information. Thank you. Okay. And we have Seema Giri. She's our guest for the last time. She's going to join as a member. Hello, Seema. Want to say hi?
Hi, everyone. So happy to be here. I don't feel like a guest. I feel like I've been with the team for a really, really long time because I have, and I look forward to renewing my membership to become an even better speaker. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you, Seema. And our guest, Elios. Would you like to say who you are and where you're calling in from? Welcome, Elios.
Everybody, I'm in Indonesia, District 87. I'm still on my way to work, so I just have a quick introduction. I'm from Empire Toastmasters, and it is in Surabaya, Indonesia. And I have been Toastmaster for 2 years, from 2020. I have been in Keynote, workshop, and educational speech about podcasting, humor, and soft skills. That's all from me. Back to you, Cynthia.
Awesome. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. And Varun Kumar, would you like to introduce yourself and where you're calling in from?
Hey everyone, unfortunately I will not be able to switch on my video. I am joining in from Spain, Barcelona. It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Woo.
I have been a Toastmaster since the last 7 years. Due to this pandemic, my flight has taken off to different countries rather than just different clubs in the same city. So that's my introduction. Back to you.
Awesome. Welcome, welcome. And Mary Thomas from the Philippines. Do you have a moment to say hi? Introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm good. Hi, everyone. I am Mary Thomas. I am coming in from the Philippines. I'm actually a Malaysian. And I'll be joining this club very soon, thanks to distinguished Toastmaster Cynthia Stott. So you'll be seeing more of me. I'm so glad to be here. Back to you.
Great. And I know you're on duty tonight as a doctor, so you may be called away, and saving lives is more important than a Toastmasters meeting. So we thank you for being here. Awesome. Let's see. And Patrick, can you introduce yourself and say where you're calling in from?
Yeah. Hi everyone. My name is Patrick. I'm from Brazil. I'm here just try to improve my English, no? To talk a little bit and more, and just try to try as much as I can here. Thanks everyone for having me here.
Awesome. And there's an opportunity a little bit later. It's called the table topic session, and you can practice your English there by answering a question. So we'll call on you a little later today. Great.
Yes.
And we do want to welcome our member back, Cassandra. You haven't been here in so long. Good to see you. Yeah. And I think that's all our guests. Did I catch everybody? Okay, great. And so, who's our Toastmaster today? Is that Swarna? Swarna! Great. It is my pleasure to introduce the Program Quality Director for Singapore and DTM, Swarna Kalyan. Take it away, Swarna.
Thank you so much. Fabulous day, friends from all over the world. This is Varuna here. I'm a charter member of Leaders Worldwide and a very proud member of this club, and enjoy every meeting that I come in here with. And so lovely to see so many of you here joining every week to make this meeting a fabulous one. Today, our theme of the meeting is International Day of Charity. September 5th is celebrated as International Day of Charity Day by the United Nations. And why is it celebrated as a global charity day? Is basically to bring in global solidarity to eradicate poverty. And this special day is chosen because it's the day when Mother Teresa, who was known for her charity work and a Nobel laureate for peace, and it's the day that she passed on. And so as a memory, in memory of the great work that she has done, this day has been decided as the International Day of Charity. And I think this is so wonderful because if you look all around the world, I think we are blessed in whichever place we are. There are so many things that are happening. There is rains. I just heard China had earthquake. Most parts of Australia, India, and Pakistan are undergoing a lot of rain continuously for the past 10 days. And you can imagine the amount of work loss that is happening. So charity from those who can give and help really makes a difference to lives all around the world. So let's make a difference by just being human and acknowledging that the rest of the world, just small bit from us, can make a difference. Now, our meeting is lined up with exciting speakers. And of course, let me go through the program sheet. We start off with our keynote address by Rosalind Khan, DTM. And then we do have a prepared speech segment, table topic segment, and evaluation segment. But before I go through all of this, I would like to invite our general evaluator, Mary Thomas, to introduce her tag team, the timer, the R counter of grammarian. Yeah, over to you, Mary Thomas.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. It is my pleasure now to introduce my tag team. We have the timer. I have the timer here, Rosemary Sweeney. She would be timing all of the proceedings of the evening. I'm sure we're all familiar with what that is, so I wouldn't get into it. And the R counter and grammarian would be Sally Reyes. Welcome aboard to both of you. I believe that the R counter is the grammarian as well. Therefore, let's move on. Back
And
to you,
Sally will
Toastmaster
introduce
lady.
the word of the day. Sally, as grammarian, will introduce the word of the day if she will unmute herself.
I'm always missing that little tick there. Thank you so much. I'm excited. My favorite word, I think, in my life is empathy. And I think it's highly important as we're working around the world to feel what it's like for other folks and what they're going through and how we can send them the best power possible in any way. And I know even just the greatest vibrations can help people, support them in their fight to increase their situation and their troubles. So I'm a believer from the ground up. Use empathy and respond when it speaks to you. Thank you so much. I'm counting your empathetic thoughts. We have three kinds, which I hadn't thought of. Cognitive, emotional, and compassionate empathy. So there are things to experiment within the empathy field. Thank you so much. I'll be counting your ums and ahs, repetitive things we try to erase from our point of view and not clutter up and realize how many times we use it and eliminate it. But we're not being critical. We are supportive that that speech is more powerful by counting all those tiny things that aren't necessary. Thank you. Take it away.
Thank you so much. Our grammarian and sergeant at arms, always there to cheer us up and start off a meeting. Sally Reyes, thank you so much. Empathy. I think as leaders, we all know that empathy is the core now when we speak about making a difference. And at Leaders Worldwide, we have many leaders here who practice and showcase empathy in everything that they do here. Let me start off by introducing our keynote address. Keynote speaker, Rosalind Khan, DTM. Her keynote address speech is What Toastmasters Can Do for You, Ireland. She has been globetrotting. She just returned from Egypt, right, Rosalind? And we look forward to your wonderful speech today and to inspire us with your sharing. And we will have, at the end of the segment, we will have our VPE, Kathleen Phil, who will facilitate the Q&A. The timing for this segment is 20 minutes. And can I request our timer to share the timing sequence? Rosemary Sweeney.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the meeting. This evening, Toastmaster Rosalind will be presenting for 13 to 15 minutes. At 13 minutes, I will show the green background. 1 minute. At 14 minutes, the yellow, and at 15 minutes, the red background. After she has spoken, there will be a question and answer round, and the question and answer round will be 3 to 5 minutes. At 3 minutes, the green background. At 4 minutes, the yellow, and at 5 minutes, the red background. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the meeting.
Thank you so much. And welcome. Let us all put our hands together to welcome DTM Rosalind Khan to give her keynote address. Over to you. The stage is yours, Rosalind.
Well, I'm so excited and happy to be with all my friends, my fellow Toastmaster group. I want to make sure that my associate has the PowerPoint slides that go with us. And so let's go ahead and buckle our seatbelts, lady. We are taking off to Ireland. Yes, indeed.
Rosalind, can you get a little bit closer to your microphone? To your microphone so we can hear you, and raise there we are. If you can
There
do
we go.
that.
Can you
And
hear me now?
You sound wonderful and you look beautiful.
I always look beautiful for my friends. There we go.
Hey,
And
Rosalind, before you get started, one last interruption. Can you confirm the person that you wanted for a co-host? Said
Anna Marie Buenacore.
Okay, that's it for her. Thank you.
Okay, so Anna Marie, you ready?
Yeah, let me see if it says share screen. I don't know if I can share my screen. Yeah, share screen. Okay.
Okay, and then somebody is recording.
This is being recorded, right?
I'll record.
Yes. They said yes.
It's recording.
Okay, great. So let me know when you're ready.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, I've got this.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about what you can gain from Toastmasters. Now, all of us know we pay somewhere between 65 and 85 for a 6-month period. But let me ask all of you, how many think you're getting your money's worth? Can I see by show of hands? Oh, I see lots of hands up there. There's plenty of hands, but I want to tell you, there's more that you can do. Today, I want to tell you how I, Rosalind Kahn, took an inspiration from another fellow Toastmaster whose name is Maureen Dominio. I remember how proud he was, how happy he'd gone overseas and he'd given a speech. Well, Maurice, I've outdone you. I've not done 1, but 2, but 3 speaking engagements. And I joined a Toastmaster group that's out of the area. So if you have your seatbelts on, let's get ready. And here we go. Now, let's go to our next slide here. Now, one of the things that helped me in Toastmasters, there was a young lady who comes from Malaysia. She's not in the picture here, but she is named Sabuna Makata. And I'm sorry if I massacred her name, but she is, like I said, the star in the world. If you ever want to get somewhere, you need to meet somebody like Subhana. Subhana had, for my birthday, invited me to England, where I met this lovely lady named Mara. And Mara helped create this engagement right here. Here are 3 of the top players of the group there in Ennis. And when I was in Ennis, this is a public speaker's dream. Can you imagine standing in front of a group of 20 people asking you all sorts of questions about why do we have to use pathways? I really don't like that. How is it that we increase membership in the time of the pandemic? And I felt like I was Alfred Herzing, a mentor of mine from Toastmaster and a district leader. And I sat down and I said to them, do you guys remember when Zoom came about? How many guys survived? Did you guys know about Zoom? And they said, no. How many guys survived it? And all their hands went ahead and shyly went up and said, yeah, I know about Zoom. Yeah, I was able to adapt. And as we began talking, I said, well, overcoming pathways and using the computer is kind of like that. And this gentleman in the back said, you mean this is like change management? And I said, my prayers have been answered. I always wanted to work in outplacement training, and here I get to help Toastmasters overcome their fear of using pathways. And I said, are you guys into recycling? And I said, well, what do you mean? You see, with pathways, we don't have to chop down trees. We can go ahead and have it online. And as we began talking, I said, in pathways, you get to give an icebreaker, because if we look at today's meeting, there are people in this group that have never met me before. And they're saying, wow, Rosalind's kind of interesting. Maybe I could learn a little bit about her. Well, with Toastmasters, each time you begin a new path, you get to reintroduce yourself, or you get to tell another story. So these are 3 people that were in that wonderful group. Let's go to our next slide. Now, on our next slide, one of the reasons I went to Toastmasters is I belong to a group called Up With People. And in Up With People, they had the 37th reunion. And if you know me, you love me, and you know that I absolutely love flowers.
If you go to my Instagram page, you can see the flowers I create each and every day. What is most beautiful about Ennis is the gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous flowers. There's one place I went to that was called the Circle of Life, and it is a place that was in memory of those who had donated an organ. They had these beautiful plaques, these beautiful flowers, and there wouldn't be Ireland if you didn't see the flowers. So let's go to the next slide. One of the benefits that came out of this Toastmaster experience is I decided I wanted to keep my commitment to Toastmasters abroad, and I became a member of this One Country, One World. You see, we're a blend group in that we have new Toastmasters and we have old Toastmasters, but really attracted me to this group that's called One Country, One World is they had a travel master. And so right here on this slide, I was going to be the speaker, and I was going to be talking about this very trip, about the beauty and the passion of going to Ireland and all the beauty and splendor that comes. And we got a chance to each week, they meet on the second and fourth Sunday of the month, is learn about another place to travel. There was a person in that group who every time we did a table topic, there'd be a critique. One would do the evens and one would do the odds. They had a theme master that went over the whole theme, and maybe the theme was how we could become a better speaker, talking about eye contact, talking about body language, talking about gestures, talking about vocal variety, doing a critique of the speeches that were done. And another thing that was really amazing was the way they did their impromptu speeches. If you remember, there was one day when the power went out. I remember I had these pictures of my vacation in one of the places, and I was so excited, and I'd say, what do you see in this picture? And they would create a story that was about it. Well, that was an idea that I took from One Country, One World. I know Judy in our club has had a vast experience of going to other places. And the beauty is you don't even need to leave your home. You can do it virtually all online. So many groups follow that. And so let me take you to the next slide, here. The next slide is the first speech that I gave in Ireland. I had to stop and think a second where I was because I just came back from Egypt. But when I was in Ireland, I met this gentleman, and his name was Geroid Murphy. Geroid Murphy was a person who was very involved in district leadership processes. He was a DTM, he was in charge of clubs, he was in charge of new clubs and new growth. And what was amazing about this gentleman is he drove 1.5 hours to my place, chauffeured me another half an hour out there. And he was such a joy and such a pleasure. But more important than the driving, he was a photographer, he was a videographer, and he also opened up the doors to so many other opportunities. You see, Geroid was an extension of the lady I met from Malaysia, that when I got to Ireland, he says, oh my gosh, Rosalind, you know, there's another group you can speak at. It's the Untitled Toastmasters, which was the first slide I told you. And there's another group of people down in Ennis. And he orchestrated this whole meeting of 12 people going ahead and coming together to hear my words. Now, this meeting on Castleknock Toastmasters, back to that story, was a situation where they had both a video speech like we saw, and there was a live audience. And so we got to see the visit, and the person on the screen was going ahead and giving their speech, and we were all giving a critique and going back and forth. And one of the amazing things about the Castleknock Toastmasters is they met at a health club. And so right out the window, you could see the tennis courts. But what was really interesting in that club is they began with a poem. It was such a beautiful and memorable poem. It went ahead and it was the opening of a local presentation in a theater. And before the theater began, the MC at the theater began an opening with this picturesque, beautiful words of listening to the sounds, the tone, the beat, and it was something that you could remember. It was so great speaking live because in the Toastmaster pandemic, I don't remember the last time I was in a group and speaking live. Another thing that was really interesting is they had this really cool bottle, and you'd think it was a liquor bottle, but it was just a bottle of cranberry juice. And I'm always a person who thrives and thrives to learn. And so some of the feedback they gave me, because in Toastmasters, we always learn about feedback, is they said, for those of you who don't know about TED, let me explain to you, for those who don't know what TED is. Maybe you've lived under a cave, lived under a rock. Well, there's some other things. TED is an organization that began up in Northern California. And in Northern California, there were all these really smart, intelligent people, and they would get together to share great ideas. And then there was a guy by the name of Chris Anderson, and he decided he wanted the whole world to have this experience. And so he began these things that are called TEDx stages. And the TEDx stages is, you can go and look online, as Robert and I had gone and looked online about all the speeches that are out there. And it gives people an opportunity to go ahead and give a speech. And so in my life, I've given 3 speeches, 3 Toastmaster groups, 3 speeches. The first was called Language Comes to Life. It was taking my students to the theater and how that changed the way they learned English. The second speech that I gave was a speech that was called Coming Around the Curve, and my battle with scoliosis, and how that made me more empathetic speaker. The last one was called Overcoming Cultural Barriers, and how those cultural barriers can help us out in our life. And I remember the first scene from that speech. The first scene from that speech was, you know, if I took a rock and I threw it into a pond and I watched those circles go round and round and round. And if I look at that rock, and that rock could easily be each and every one of you, imagine the difference you can make in that world. There was a great mentor of mine. His name was Daniel Tyler Ponke. And Daniel Tyler Ponke must have done that with me thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And the TED experience is one that you can get up and share those stories. A few ingredients of what really makes a really great TED Talk is, what makes your story unique and special? How do you differentiate from the rest of the world? It can't be a sales pitch. It needs to be something original. And they really love stories. They say that Toastmasters is a great organization to help people finesse those special things. So they got the moves, they got the junctions, they got the vocal variety to go ahead and bring the audience in. And it's a message that they can leave for the world. So there's a lot of similarities between the TEDx talk and the Toastmasters International Speech Contest. So in Ireland, in case you were forgotten, there were 3 speeches I gave. I began first with the Castleknock Toastmasters. Next was the Tinseltown Toastmasters. I gave a speech that was on membership. And the third one is the group, which is called One Country, One World. So, you know, there's a few extra benefits I got from going to Ireland that can help you out, and that helped me out. And one of them is a gentleman whose name was Nick Collins. Nick Collins was actually in this group, Castleknock Toastmasters. I got myself in a little bit of a tight spot, and I needed a place to go ahead and stay. And you'd never imagine the open arms that came to help me out of this catastrophe. I was calling this place, I was calling that place, and Nick said, hey, if you want, I can come with my radio garb and show them that I'm a radio announcer, make sure they treat you fairly. And so not only did Nick come, but the same time he came, he brought all his garb with him. And I'm going to be on a Phoenix FM radio out of Ireland. And better yet, he took me on a private tour all around the whole island. We walked along the grass, we walked around the hills. He showed us where major concerts had been in the past. He took me up to a radio tower. And if you go to my Facebook page or Instagram, you'll see me at this beautiful thing, looking so debonair, kind of like I look tonight. And he took me to this place. We had fish and chips. We saw some Irish friend who wanted us to sit down and chat. And best of all, he took us to a beautiful picturesque sunset. It is memories I will always have with me. And then good old Gerard Murphy invited me to a show, which is for the talk of the town, which is going to be a special podcast that comes out of Dublin. So I ask you the question. I began, how many of you are getting out of your $63 worth? Now, if you listen carefully, I told you 3 experiences. I got to speak to the Castle Knock Toastmasters. I got to go ahead and speak to the Tinily Toastmasters online. And then I was down at that group of Ennis. I've told you the opportunities that have come out of that group. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're just going to the one country, one world, then you need to know that there's Leaders Worldwide. There's a whole lot of other platforms out there. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to all the guests who come to see us tonight. And remember, when they put on their link on the line, you want to be that guest so you can be that speaker next. If you want to hear more of my adventures, upcoming, we have Rosalind's trip to Egypt. Madam Toastmaster, fellow toasters, from the bottom of my heart, gratitude beyond words.
Thank you for the grand tour, DTM Rosalind. You are a great example of empathy. I have a question for you. Have you noticed what themes bring people from diverse cultures and perspectives together?
Well, I think it's the quest of learning, you know, whether it be the people in the Toastmasters group that wanted to learn. Just a quick story from Egypt. I put something on a GoFundMe campaign, and I began, it's not about me, but there was a young kid who was 2 years old who I was teaching their first words in Egyptian. And I said, this is hello, this is hi, and this is goodbye. Or the person I helped in the pool, or I'm always helping people. People want to learn. And they taught me 1 through 10 in Egyptian. I still can't remember. But there's always Ireland in my heart. And a gift that I want to give to all of you is there's a meditation that I listen to when I really want to relax. And go look online for Irish meditation music. And every time I want to get that calm, cool feeling, I listen to that Irish meditation music. And I will be back in Ireland because it is a glorious, great place. Just a quick little tidbit at the end. When I was at the airport, I asked the people who were standing in line, was this your first trip? And a common theme through all of them was, no, this is my second and third. You go to Ireland and it'll wrap you in your arms and want you to come back and visit. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it did. What it told me that it's not themes, it's merely heart. It's merely warmth from the heart.
Yes, it is.
And that magic Celtic Irish, whatever it is up there.
They are just so friendly and loving people. I was at a place, and this would never happen in America. You all know me and my phone, it always dies at the wrong place, and it always is out of this and out of that. And so I go up to this vendor and I'm like, you know, where can I charge my phone? And he says, leave it here. What? You mean I'll have a phone when I come back? Never in America would this ever happen. But you went to a place, and my friend found a date to went on Matcher.com, and he found this lady to give him his own private tour of there. And you never think of these things that'll happen. You know, TikTok's only at home. And of course, the picture online is like when she was 18 and she's now got great hair. I complimented her on her beautiful purple makeup. It was gorgeous, but she had gray hair and everything and stuff like that. And so Don't believe what those pictures say, except my picture's real. This is really me. Cheese.
Okay, there's a question from Cynthia. She wants to know, what did you learn from your trip to different Toastmasters clubs abroad?
Well, I think that's interesting is they all have their own little twist on what they do differently. Like I told you, the one group had the poetry that they've given. I really liked the Tiny Toastmasters. They were small, but they were really a community group. The group that I go to, the One Country, One World, has literally people from so many different nations. And it just shows you what Toastmasters can do for you, a person who thrives on learning. And it just opens up the window that you're always learning more new things.
Yes. That is so true. That's so true. You know, we're going to have to, I know you could talk forever, but I do have, oh, here's a question. Michelle wants to know, what can you suggest to new Toastmasters about how to get invited to other clubs?
Well, it's really simple. In our group right here, we have a guest here who put in his group here. If you like, want to find out, and I send him a meeting right away. There's also Toastmasters International. You can go ahead and go to any country in the world. Like I went to Egypt and I tried to find a group that was there, and there was a group that went, and you can go online and say which group is in this particular area, and you can find it really easily that way. Cynthia is also a good person, but she invited me to go to the Toastmasters webpage to make that happen.
Well, you've been a real model of empathy, Rosalind. We are going to, our 5 minutes is going to be up any second now, but I wonder if you would want to bleed into the break time a little bit for anyone who wants to chat with you. I'm wondering, so Ted wants you to sharpen your story and for you to know, as you said, what makes your story unique and special. And I'm wondering how you refined it. Did your work in Toastmasters help you refine your story to have a unique and special message? Or have you
Yeah,
always
I'd be happy to bleed into the break, because I know a lot of people need to take a break. So if you want to go ahead and leave, I will carry that in the conversation on the break, and I'd be happy to go ahead and share that with you. So if you need to go, it's okay. So
why don't we have our Toastmaster of the day announce the break, and then you can keep your microphone on and answer the question, and we'll have 5 minutes.
Sure.
So back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. Wonderful speech, Rosalind. And a round of applause again to your sharing. Lots of takeaways for me as well. You truly show us how empathy, how we can connect with the world, and how Toastmasters can let us all reach out and spread our wings. Thank you so much. Now, let's go in for a short 5-minute break, and I request our timer to time the styles so that we can come back for the next segment, interesting one, where we are going to listen to prepared speeches by our members who are going to share their stories. Over to you. See you soon. And in 5 minutes, I'll come back. Can we start? It's the evaluators back here. I see you all, timers here. Great. Our second segment of this meeting is the prepared speech segment. We have two interesting speakers here today who are sharing their speeches. So let's go to the first one. We have our first speaker, Rohan King, who will be presenting presentation mastery, writing a speech with a purpose. And I would now like to invite our Evaluator, Judith Faber, to share the project objectives. Over to you, Judith.
Okay, thank you, Ivana. It's Ferber. Rowan's speech is writing a speech with a purpose, which is one of the new additional pathway addition to our first speech. The project purpose is, the purpose of this project is to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. And that's what it is. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Judith. Rowan King is one of our newest members in Leaders Worldwide, and he's going to share with us his speech, Ultimate Frisbee, the spirit of the game, and the timing sequence will now be shared by our timer, DTM Rosemary Sweeney.
Thank you again, Madam Toastmaster of the meeting. This evening, Rowan's speech will be 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, I will show the green background. Let me show. At 5 minutes, I will show the green background. At 6 minutes, the yellow, and at 7 minutes, the red background. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the meeting.
Thank you. Rohan, the stage is yours and you can start your speech now. Please pin the timer so that you can still see when you are spotlighted. Thank you, and over to you, Rohan.
Right. As I walked into the line, I heard my teammates chant, "Ooze, gush, stick, crush." To be honest, I still don't really know what it means. We think that it relates to an oil spill that happened in Santa Barbara, but we're not entirely sure. Either way, I think that it's a great representation of my team. Goofy, but competitive. The fact that Ultimate Frisbee is able to combine all of these different elements into one sport is a reason that it's become so appealing to me. Now, first, I'll explain a little bit about Ultimate Frisbee. When most people think of it, they think of a fun thing to do with their friends in the park, but there's a lot more to it. It's actually a competitive sport with its own set of rules and regulations. Usually there are 7 players from each team on the field at a time, a total of 14. And one team will throw it off to the other and they'll start to defend each other. Now, the point won't end until one team scores, which means there can be very long points. This leads to people trying to push really hard to finish that last point and score or defend against the other team. And it also creates a very competitive and fast-paced atmosphere. A lot of the time, the possession of the Frisbee can change at the drop of the hat. The other team might throw it out of bounds, it might fall, or you could even intercept it. And this would change your goal on the field from defending to scoring. Now, I also want to explain a few reasons that I really love Ultimate Frisbee. First off, it provides a thrill of competition. In high school, I had been on my club team, but it was pretty small and we didn't have many games against other schools. Then COVID hit and we were even more restricted. So when I had the chance to play in college, I was extremely excited to go against other top-notch schools and incredible players. However, it didn't start off so great. I really struggled to play against those good players and guard them because a lot of the time they would beat me up line or score on me. But I didn't get discouraged. I kept on working and eventually I was able to play against them. It showed that I had what it took and was really uplifting for me. Now, another thing that I've learned from Frisbee is the importance of a team. In Frisbee, you can't run with the disc, so you have to pass. As a result, you start to learn your teammates' habits, how fast they run, how far they can throw, and much, much more. You start to notice these little things, and you're able to combine them with your own strengths to create a powerful combination. It's also taught me the importance of communication. Like all sports, you need to talk with your teammates, but in Frisbee, it's crucial. Not only is your back facing the people handling the disc a lot of the time, but you also don't know where everyone on the field is. That's why it's so important to know and talk with your teammates. Something that my coaches and captains have said that's really stuck with me. It's not the team who wins isn't the one who plays a 7-on-7. It's the one who plays an 8-on-7 or a 25-on-7 who wins. And what this means is the players on the sideline are just as important as the players on the field. With everyone actively participating, you're able to understand so much more about what's happening on the field. I distinctly remember a time where I was guarding someone who was handling the Frisbee. I was starting to loosen up a little bit as the game had already started and we were a couple minutes in. But at that moment, my teammate on the sideline yelled at me to get ready. Immediately, I locked in and my stance changed. I looked over and I saw the Frisbee coming towards him. I was able to get in his line of vision a little bit and he bobbled the Frisbee. This led to me catching it in the opposing end zone, something known as a Callahan. And it really showed me that it's so important to talk with your teammates because you never know, it might lead to you scoring. Another thing that I love about Ultimate Frisbee is its uniqueness. Unlike a football, a Frisbee can curve. It can be thrown in multiple ways, and it's also affected by the wind. This means that there are numerous ways for you to constantly evolve in Frisbee, and you're able to see your progress in real time. The one thing that I love the most about Ultimate Frisbee, and I think that makes it most unique, is something called the spirit of the game. There are no referees in Ultimate Frisbee, so players call their own fouls and practice integrity and honesty, something that I find really important. So when a foul is called, most players will just accept it and will move on from there. But even if there is a disagreement, the Frisbee will just go back to where it was at the beginning of the play and it'll restart from there. I don't know of any other sports that really do this, so I think that it just shows that Ultimate Frisbee is different, and it's a great way of bringing together the community. While a lot of people see Ultimate Frisbee as a fun pastime to do with their friends at the park, to me, it's a competitive and exciting sport. It's been a way for me to connect with new people at school, and I can't wait to get back to playing it in the fall. And remember, ooze, gush, stick, crush. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Fabulous. Thanks for sharing this, Rowan. A very fresh perspective for me. And when you said it improves communication, that was something for me to take away. Thank you so much. Now let's move on to our second speaker here with us, DTM.
We have a minute for the evaluator, a minute on the timer.
Yeah, thanks. Let us give 1 minute for all of you to send your personal message to the speaker, as well as giving time for our evaluator to write the report. Thank you, timer. Now let's go on to our second speaker here. Dtm Linda Patton, who is starting her pathway strategic relationships, and she's going to deliver her icebreaker speech. In the beginning of the meeting, I shared that the theme of the meeting is the International Day of Charity. And September 5th is special because of Mother Teresa passing away. But September 5th is also special because it's Linda Patton's birthday. So let us all wish her a beautiful birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Linda. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Linda.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would like to now invite her evaluator, Cynthia Stott, DTM, to share the project objectives.
Thank you. Thank you. This is Linda's icebreaker for strategic relationships, but it is not her first speech. It is not her first icebreaker. In fact, it's her 6th icebreaker because she is on her seventh path. Oh my goodness. And this is a chance for her to speak a short speech to introduce her to even more deeply to our club members and guests. And I will be looking that she has an opening, a body, and a conclusion. She definitely will have that and so much more. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, DTM Swarna Kalyan.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. Now, can I invite our timer to share the timing sequence for this icebreaker speech?
This evening, Linda's icebreaker speech will be 4 to 6 minutes. At 4 minutes, I will be showing the green background. At 5 minutes, the yellow, and at 6 minutes, the red background. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the meeting.
Thank you so much, Rosemary. And the stage is yours, Linda. Over to you.
Thank you so very much, Madam Toastmaster. I've done so many icebreakers. As you heard, I've done 7 of them, which means I have completed 6 paths out of 10 in the Pathways program. Am I an overachiever? You bet your bippy I am. But I have to go back to when I was a little girl. And as many of you know, my grandmother had a very strong impact on me when I was 5. She basically told me after doing a memorized speech of the night before Christmas, and I fumbled a line. And she says to me, Linda, you should never get up in front of other people and talk. You're just not very good at it. Well, at 5, what do you think? I said, I'm not speaking in front of anybody. I'm never doing another speech unless I have to. And I'm done. I'm going to be the quiet little girl sitting in the corner and just getting her work done. And that's pretty much what I did all through grade school, high school, and college for the most part. It wasn't until I entered the military, and many of you heard this story, which I didn't really begin to speak until I was put on the Army recruitment team. And I had no choice. The colonel said to me, Lieutenant Frank, you will be on my recruiting team and you will run it and you'll succeed. I know it. I was lucky. I had some really great people working for me, and turns out I could actually stand up in front of groups of people and speak. And that turned my whole life around. I started teaching and mentoring and doing all those things that you do with your voice. I also, as you know, and I'm not going to do it here, was the parade adjutant and actually talked to 2,400 women across a parade field. And my voice isn't good enough tonight to be able to demonstrate that. But where it really started to flow was when I moved to San Francisco and I started training with Bank of America and with Crocker Bank, and then on my own. And I got really good at it. I could facilitate, I could teach, I could lecture, whatever. But the one place I never went was Toastmasters. I said, no, not Toastmasters, anything but Toastmasters. I did not want to get into it. I thought it was a cult. And besides the fact, why would I want to join a group of people who all they did was speeches? It seemed just really unnatural, to say the least. Well, I met Cynthia Stott in an entirely different part of our lives. And Cynthia invited me to be the demo speaker for the very first Speechcraft we did for Leaders Worldwide. I said, well, okay, you asked, I'll do it. I had no idea what that was about. And in fact, she wouldn't tell me what my speech was until the day of the speech. So it meant a lot of it was very off the cuff, impromptu, but I got the hang of it, and it made some sense to me. Well, Cynthia was also very much a part of the, Linda, perhaps you might want to do, the next thing I knew, I was doing it. So I started with presentation mastery, and I did the first 2 levels while we were in Speechcraft and went on from there. Then she says to me, wouldn't you like to get a triple crown? So, I'm sorry, I'm not in the horse racing business. And it looked, oops, I'm not in the horse racing business. I can't do that. Well, I've done it 3 times. I've also done the Outstanding Achievement Toastmasters 3 times. Oh, by the way, I joined in December of 19, so you can kind of calculate what that looks like. In addition, I have played roles in the club level, at the area level, I was an area director last year, at the district level as the district finance manager, and now the district administrative officer, and soon to be the division level, but you didn't hear it from me here. I am, oh, and I was the Toastmaster of the Year a year ago for D57. Do you think that I like to accomplish things? Do you think that I like to do things and get things for them? I mean, I have awards and decorations everywhere in the house, including medals and all sorts of other things. Even this year, without being able to get any medals because we couldn't get them through the store, I know that there are some that are coming soon. What I want to say about Toastmasters is, 1, it's not a cult. 2, it is probably one of the best places to get a chance to stand up, do an impromptu speech or a prepared speech, and get feedback from your peers. Feedback that you can then use in creating the next speech and the next one. And I obviously like it, and I guess I'm pretty good at it, because if I wasn't, I wouldn't be a DTM, and almost a second DTM. I have 1 thing to complete. And for somebody like me who loves the challenge of accomplishment and finishing things and moving on to other things and working with people, I'm a club coach as well. This is the place to do it. If you haven't started on Pathways or you're stuck, talk to us about it. We'll unstick you. Toastmasters, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be a Toastmaster.
Fabulous speech, Linda. Linda, your first speech was the one that brought me here to Leaders Worldwide. I still remember the title, Confluence, right?
Confluence.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. Where you shared your story of being in the military and how you do a combination of commanding and influence.
Yes.
I still remember that speech so well.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And let us give a minute of silence to give your feedback to Linda, and as well for the evaluator to write her own feedback. What? Thank you, timer. This comes or concludes our prepared speech segment, and now we move on to the very exciting table topics segment. Table topics segment, for those of you who may not know, is the impromptu speaking segment where we have a table topic master giving us a topic and asking us to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Before I hand over the stage to the table topic master, can I invite our timer to share the timing sequence for the table topic segment?
Thank you once again. Our table topic speakers are given 1 to 2 minutes to speak. At 1 minute, I will show the green background. At 1.5 minutes, the yellow. And at 2 minutes, the red background. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the meeting. Sorry.
Thank you very much, timer, Rosemary Sweeney. Let us put our hands together to invite Dr. Michelle Petticolas, DTM, to take the stage over as the table topic master. She is a speech champion from our club and area and division as well. So it's going to be interesting for her to host this today. And let us all remember to use the word of the day, empathy. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Swarna. I really appreciate the introduction. What I first want to do is get a bunch of volunteers right off the bat so that I don't have to keep on switching back and forth. Now I know Marutesh wants to speak, and is Patrick still here?
Yeah.
Okay, so Patrick, who else wants to speak?
Marutesh.
Anybody else? Marutesh? And I don't know if I see Patrick anymore. Oh, Alpana. Yes, I had you on my list too, Alpana. Absolutely. Anybody else? I need one more.
Well, if you need someone, I'll always speak.
Why don't we go ahead and do Judith, since you have been you were the keynote speaker.
Okay.
But you are the mistress of table topics. I loved your table topics last time. Okay, so I'm going to start out with Alpana, one of our members. Are you ready? So you can choose question 1 through 5.
Oh, okay. I'll go with number 4.
Okay, so number 4. What more can you do to stretch your empathy muscles?
What more can I do to stretch my empathy muscle? Thank you, Madam Table Topic Master. That is a great question, and something that I would have to think about for a second, but not too long. So here's what I think is empathy is a muscle that one can build by connection. So connection is something that I feel is extremely important for me. And when I think about connection, I also think about being able to do that as a global citizen. So when I travel, I find myself connecting with people that are from all walks of life. In fact, in a few days, I'm leaving for Europe. I'll be traveling by myself and going to a few different countries. And I'm really looking forward to connecting through food, through stories, through other magical experiences where I'll be able to experience new cultures, new people, and be able to empathize and connect with different people. So that's something that comes to mind right now, and I'm sure I'll have many other adventures as well. So thank you so much for the question, and I am passing it back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Alpana, I loved your answer. I think it was brilliant. Yes, connection is a way in which we can stretch our empathy muscles, because it's only through connection that we learn other people's perspectives and other people's point of view. And what is empathy but being able to stand in somebody else's position? So thank you very much. The next person I want to bring up is, I wrote his name down, Maritush. Maritush, what number would you like from 1 to 5, but not 4?
3.
3. Okay. When has somebody, tell us a story about when somebody's empathy or charity towards you made a huge difference in your life?
Yeah, thank you, Tabletop Master. I remember a few days back in my college, I was teaching a concept for my students. Suddenly, an unknown person came into my college and he called me. I went near the door. Then he told he's coming from near to my house, some places there. He's coming from there. And I had some feeling because he's from near to my house. And he told about the ashram, the charity that he is conducting, and he told about he is serving for old age people, because many old age people sometimes they might refuse from their home, and for that person he is having one ashram and he is maintaining the old age people like 65, 70 years people, and he is taking care of them, and he asked money for that to maintain, and he showed all the picture of them. Then one day I visited there, I had some feeling, I thought to help them, and I used to give 20% of my salary to that ashram. That is one of the things that really touched my heart. Thank you.
Wow, Maritush, that is quite an amazing story. I was looking for a story about how somebody's empathy for you impacted you, but I love your story of how somebody else asked for your charity and empathy and how that really touched you in a very deep way. So thank you very much for your story. And let's see, who was the next person I had on my list? Yes, Judith, thank you. Great. I'm glad somebody remembered. I lost my notes somewhere. Judith, other than 3 and 4, from 1 to 5, which question would you like to do?
Number 1, it is.
Okay. So how does charity come to play in the work that you do in the world?
Well, I don't know if charity is the right word for me, but I have been be part of Meals and Wheels for many years in the city of Los Angeles, where I deliver about 11 meals to 11 people every single Friday morning. And that is my contribution to some of these people who are in need. Not necessarily need of food, but because they are not able to go anywhere, or whether it's age or ability. And I am grateful that I can connect with these people. I have wonderful relationship with every single one of them. And it's not necessarily a charity, but I call it my contribution to this world here. And I find this very important. I've been doing this for many, many years. And this is, I think, what my contribution to this part of the world it is. Thank you for your question.
Judith, that was lovely. I really appreciate what it is you do in the world. Of course, seniors do need help, and sometimes they're stuck at home and they really need somebody to go out and do that. And I had no idea about that about you, and I'm really pleased to hear that. I wanted to check with our timer and our Toastmaster. Do we have time for one more? And Swarna, since you're the Toastmaster and you would be the one I asked, there's a little bit of
I think we may have for one more.
Yes, we have one more. So you have a choice between 2 and 5, I think.
Okay, let's go with 2.
Okay, this is a good one. Give me an example of your charity. Well, actually, that's a lot like Judith just had. So instead, I'm going to ask you what I tried to ask before, which is, when did somebody's empathy towards you make a big difference in your life? In other words, not your empathy for somebody else, but somebody else giving you empathy or charity.
Thank you very much to Table Topic Master and fellow Toastmasters. We normally associate empathy when we think we are suffering and someone else understands us better. But at workplace as well, or even in Toastmasters, I think empathy plays a very large part of who we develop ourselves to become. And I can today share with you that how Cynthia reached out to me, pulled me out of my comfort zone, and what I am today as a leader, as a person, as a speaker. I think there was a lot of empathy that brought me, that she had for me, that really made me who I am today. Sometimes we forget that normal people around us also need to just have that nudge, a little bit of nudge to move us out of our comfort zone. And that itself to me shows empathetic leadership that Cynthia demonstrated. And I think she continues to demonstrate to many of them around the world. I see her in many places. So for me, that has been a great way for what I am today. And I wish I could continue to do that to someone else in my life as well. And I try every time I want to reach out to help someone, I tell myself, what would Cynthia do? And I try to replicate that as a leader to someone else. So this is how someone's empathy has changed my life. Over to you, Michelle.
Well, Swarna, I love that story because, of course, I've also been a recipient of Cynthia Stott's empathy in terms of moving me out of my comfort zone. And so you have sort of expanded the meaning of empathy towards really seeing somebody and their potential and giving them the encouragement and the support to help them move forward. So thank you. It was a beautiful Table Topics answer. And I believe this goes back to you now, and you pick up because I'm finished with my Table Topics.
Thank you so much. Wonderful Table Topics segment, combining the theme of the day and the word of the day. Thank you so much, Michelle. Really creative, extremely creative session. Now it's time for me to hand over the stage to our general evaluator, Mary Thomas. Mary, are you ready to take over?
Yes, I am.
Oh, let's welcome our general evaluator, Mary.
Woohoo! All right, I think at this segment, what I'm supposed to be doing is call on the evaluators for their evaluation. Before that, I think I need to call on the timer, but I believe the timer had already given the timing sequence. I'm sorry, yeah, she hasn't. Timer, Toastmaster Rosemary, could you give us the timing for the evaluations?
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. At this time, we are going to have the evaluation section of our meeting, and our speech evaluators will be evaluating for 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I will show the green background. I'm going to look for the background. At 2 minutes, the green background, 2.5, the yellow, and at 3 minutes, the red background. Then we will have our role players. Our role players are 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, the green background. At 1.5 minutes, the yellow background. And at 2 minutes, the red background. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Timer, Toastmaster Rosemary. May I now call upon the first evaluator. I know the evaluators, both of them are going to give great evaluations. I call upon the first evaluator, Toastmaster Judith Ferber.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mary, and all Toastmasters, and especially Rowan. Where are you? There you are. So Rowan's speech was about to have a basic methods for writing a speech. And as a first speech, you did very well. We learned about your love of the game Frisbee and how your experience and how important is a team player, players and a team, because the spirit of the game is the idea that we all respect, your opponent, to make sure that everybody is doing the right thing. And how important it is to connect with people, which is part of the game. And I couldn't really understand the beginning of the phrase that you used, but this may have something to do with the game. Okay, so it is a great first speech. It didn't have to be a perfect one, but I will tell you some suggestions how to make the speech a little bit better. First of all, we need to know what is Frisbee. Not everybody actually knows what that is. It would be nice to have these plastic, it's called a plastic flying disc, right? So we need to know what this look like. So that would be, a good idea. Also, what I wanted to know, you may not know the history of the game, but exactly when and how it appealed to you, Frisbee, this exact game, because I think many of us seen Frisbee in the parks when people are throwing the disc left and right, somebody catching it. But I personally didn't know there was a strategy to this. I thought Frisbee is that you go to the park and you throw this disc left and right, and if you are actually happy, you can catch it and how you throw it. So I think that would be a good thing to tell us that. Also, a little bit more of the rules of the game. So if you could go just at the beginning and tell us what the rules are. And the fact is, why should we care? Why would we all go out and say, okay, let's experience this game, which sounds like a lot of fun, actually, as I see it. So this structure would be just a little bit better, and we could learn the whole idea of the game, because you can never really assume that everyone knows what Frisbee is. People are in different countries, and I don't know if Frisbee is a universal. I really don't know. It could be. But anyway, I think you did really well. Thank you very much for your speech, and we'll go from there. Thank you. It's a good try.
Thank you, evaluator. Rowan, I believe you'll be able to level up from this evaluation and feedback that you've received? It was a good speech, really. And for a first time, it was a good speech. Just I need to level up based on the suggestions provided by the evaluator. We'll have the next evaluation. That's our Cynthia Stott, who will evaluate the second speaker. I have to use the word our Cynthia Stott, really. We all connect with her, don't we? I'm from across the world and I connect with you just like as though I know you for a long time. That's you, Cynthia. Okay, back to you for the evaluation.
Thank you so much, Mary, our general evaluator. It is my pleasure to evaluate the Linda Patton. And happy birthday. Facebook fell down, didn't let me know it was your birthday today. And thank you for spending your birthday evening with us or late night with us. Wow, 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 wow. Well, you were engaged and engaging, and I think you had a special sparkle in your eye. And this was a wonderful presentation. It was really an introduction to Toastmasters and a great open house speech. And I have that as one of my challenges is for you. You are a member of our District 57 Speakers Bureau. And I encourage you to speak this speech. I hope you recorded it independently to go out to the world, because as a member of the Speakers Bureau, you are able to share speeches with Toastmasters around the world, as well as associations, Rotary Club, and all of that. And so I want to see you out there speaking. I loved your gestures, your closing your mouth when your grandmother basically shut you up from speaking, and you're crossing your fingers back, Toastmasters, back. You're one of the people that vowed never to join Toastmasters until you met Cynthia Stott's version of Toastmasters, and then I convinced you to join. I loved your humor. You had tons of humor. You had the Triple Crown and you related it to horse racing. I love that. And then you said something, and I don't think you thought it was funny, but it was funny. It was, oh geez, what was it? It was, oh, Toastmasters is not a cult. That was funny. So maybe you could use a little vocal variety or pausing to make it funny, because it was funny, but you didn't think it was, so you didn't deliver it like a funny line. So I would encourage, you have a lot of humor. A lot of humor. You have physical humor and you have vocal humor. I really encourage you to bring that up some more. And one other thing, other than the challenge to speak out, oh, you kept saying you, as you know, or many of you know, so that kind of discounted it, what you were saying. It felt like leftovers. You were saran wrapping it. And they're not leftovers. They're beautiful, beautiful stories that you have to share. And if you give us a fresh look at it and present it like it's a jewel instead of yesterday's leftovers, you can really make it shine and allow people that have not heard it to not feel like, oh, I've been missing something, or I didn't get the whole gist of it. So give us that jewel as a jewel. Thank you so much. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you. Thank you, Evaluator Cynthia. I will now call on the timer for the timer's report on this evaluation.
Thank you again, Madam General Evaluator. Should I give the whole report or just the evaluation? What would you like?
The whole report.
Yeah. Our meeting started a little late because we were waiting on our sergeant at arms, and with the online portion of our meeting, we always know Murphy visits us now and then, or visits an individual. Our first speaker, our keynote speaker, she spoke for 15 minutes and 32 seconds. Our question and answer round took about 5 minutes and 40 seconds. So we have to keep within time and be empathetic towards others. Our break was about 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Our first speaker, who presented his wonderful speech, which was eye-opening to me, spoke for 5 minutes and 52 seconds. And our second speaker, Linda, she spoke for 6 minutes and 25 seconds. Our table topic speakers all spoke within the allotted time and more than 1 minute. 1 minute was the minimum. Our evaluators both spoke within the allotted time. And I will now return the virtual lecture to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Report. We are looking forward to hearing that, particularly the usage of the word empathy. I think it was used sufficiently. Please tell us and give us your report.
Thank you so much. Empathy was a popular word tonight. We have Alpina with 3. We have Maritesh with 1. We have Swarna with 7. We have Michelle with 7. Kathleen 2. Rosalind 1. Rowan 1. Judith 1. Very well. I want to say Rowan had 4 ands and 1 and I loved his use of evolve over his description of teamwork. It was stunning to listen to how fun the game can get and how interesting. Please give us more. I thought it was wonderful. Now, let's see, pathways. I think that's about, I love the word of the day being empathy for charity. And we all seem to reflect a great deal of empathy for our period today of our special word. Thank you so much for evolving that word. Thank you.
Thank you, Grammarian. It looks like it's my turn now to give the general evaluation and the proceedings of the meetings. I may have to go off cam if my internet plays up, so please bear with me on that one. Right now it seems okay. So if you don't hear me or I'm not, I lagged, please let me know. I will start with the pre-meeting evaluation, which is the time before the actual meeting starts. For me, it's 9 a.m. The networking, the conversations about the international convention, and other means of bonding with those who came early. And that's so important. We used to do that when we had face-to-face meetings, where we get to know each other, we get to know the guests, we get to know even members who, what we call prodigal members, who suddenly turn up after a long time. So that was good. It's very useful to network and chit-chat. We call it chit-chat over here. That was nice. And the agenda, I have a little bit of question on the agenda. The name of the club is Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters Club. I couldn't really understand why the agenda says Leaders Worldwide Open House. Perhaps you've changed your name, that I'm not aware of it. But maybe Vice President Education can look into that. I'm not sure why this is. And
That's so we can get
also,
paid. If we
I'm
don't have
sorry?
open house on our agenda, our district doesn't pay us for our open house. So we put open house on every agenda.
I see. All right. So it's not really the name of the club?
No,
right?
it's just we're having an open house, Leaders Worldwide open house. And that's a requirement of our district in order to get paid for the open houses.
And the agenda is
see.
done on Easy Speak, and it has limits on where you can add new words in.
I see.
Yes.
All right. And perhaps this is also something new to me, where the attendance at the bottom, it says there member. I would understand that these are the members who attend the meeting, or is it guests who are attending the meeting? A little bit of a confusion on that one.
Yeah,
If you could
actually,
just-
Mary, I will see if I can remove that. It's a kind of an artifact of Easy Speak, and it simply does get in the way. It doesn't mean anything. You're right.
I see. Okay. Right. Even before, when I attended one of the meetings, I was a little confused because I think members would anyway automatically attend a meeting without having mentioned, right? Okay. All right. Now I understand what's going on. The rest of it, the agenda is fine. You've got a very nice, filled and full agenda. That is it's so pleasant to see that when you are spending 2 hours of precious time. You want to know that something is happening there, and I come back with something. And I'm sure everyone feels that way. So that's nice. Virtual background. I'm just wondering, is it possible to have a virtual background for everyone? For the members especially? Again, perhaps the Vice President of PR can look into that one. It'd be nice to have a virtual background. It gives uniformity in the club meetings. So it's a suggestion. The meeting, of course, started pretty much on time, give or take 5 minutes up and down, it doesn't matter. It pretty much started in good timing. Charter President stepped in, DTM Cynthia Stott, when in the absence of the club president. That was good. Very quick hop in there. President, Toastmaster of the Day. Toastmaster of the Day, I know you're in Singapore and you're so chirpy and full of energy early in the morning. That was nice to see you. While I feel a little groggy here, it was nice to see you step up and really put some energy into the meeting. And you brought in a very nice and useful, I like that theme there on the fact that today is actually International Day of Charity. Charity is very close to my heart, and I really like that. It was apt and appropriate for the meeting. And you gave a very charitable explanation to that as well. Very nice. Good job there, Toastmaster of the Day. Keynote speaker, do I need to say anything more? You are a seasoned speaker. You're a TEDx speaker. Who am I to talk about it? I'm just getting there. But as always, keynote speaker, you have given something to take away for all of us, even if it is not a part of the first message, first part of the speech. It's somewhere we all take off and take up something from a keynote speech, and sure enough, we did. And I think for me, what was relevant and what struck me was the relevance of a club, a Toastmasters club, the relevance and importance that a Toastmaster is to a club and to him or herself. We as we learn, we also give back something, and that was very good over there. And you touched on the training for future TEDx speakers, and I totally connected with your experience of hospitality within the Toastmasters fraternity. If I may just share, whenever I travel out, I used to look at it. We used to have a Toastmasters directory back in the 90s. And if I'm going to any country in the world, I will look for that Toastmasters club where I'm going to land. And I can tell you, I've been to district conventions, I've been to great speech contests. I happened to be there at the right time, and the Toastmaster whom I call up is so hospitable, so kind, and so it's just a wonderful experience. We are really a Toastmasters family. I've been in this for 32 years. I should know. So for me, when I travel, meeting up with a Toastmaster is very, very important to me. And I always look up the directory for it. And I totally connect with what you mentioned about your touring that space with that Irish Toastmasters. Yeah, and they're very loving people. Oh yes, you're telling me. I always wish my children were marry an Irish. That's a little secret here. I'm not kidding. They're really nice people. Really nice people. My experience with them is beautiful. All right. Before I go on and on, let me get down to the facilitator. The first question was good, bringing cultures together, warmth from the heart. The next question was about learning from Toastmaster clubs abroad. I tell you, you learn a lot. I'm here because I learn a lot from clubs overseas. I really learn a lot. And then comes how to get invited to other clubs, so important as well. Link, I would have liked to have the link. Someone mentioned the link to the, I think it was Cynthia. You mentioned the Telegram group. Could you kindly give me that link or give us the link? It will help us to link with the others around the world. Toastmasters
Sure,
is
I'll put it in
really
the
a
chat.
fraternity.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Table topic master, Dr. Michelle Peticola, she is a dream for table topics. I know that. I've been through her table topic sessions and beautiful session. I love the fact that your topics were at a deeper level. Honestly, I can tell you, I'm kind of tired with on the surface, touch me kind of topics. But of course, I understand some clubs are very new, members are very new, and they can't go to deep topics. But I loved your topics. Empathy is something we need to talk about. We need to understand it. We need to bring it out into the open. We need that. This is the need of the hour. So I loved your topics, and I felt, I don't think I am incorrect here. For some of you who were speaking, it was like a jolt in the memory when you asked questions about when was the time somebody had an empathetic situation. I know that when you go back later on, you're going to think about it, of what you said, because sometimes these things are in the recesses of our minds. And someone asks a question and then it jolts back into the top area of the mind and you remember it and then you feel grateful about it. All these beautiful, your topics were really good. And I have no further comments on the evaluators. Timer did a great job. The grammarian did a great job. Everyone was able to use the word of the day, empathy, and everything else was beautiful. Back to you. I can go on and on if you just don't give me a timer. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day. And I think I'm supposed to call the VP for her announcements.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Wouldn't you know it, I want to share my screen and wouldn't you know it, it's not responding. I want to ask the members, so we at this meeting are only about half of us, half of the club, and I want to ask the whole club how we would like to plan the agenda so that people respond and people sign up. And there are two options. One, let's see if I can share my screen now. How aggravating. Pardon me. Wouldn't you know it? It's not.
Kathleen, I said it earlier, Murphy's visits us.
There we go.
Right.
Anyway, here's the thing. So the question really has to do with, you might say, having a little bit to do with this idea of World Charity Day or International Charity. It's what that evokes is our understanding that we play a part in the welfare of the world around us. And so I want to invoke your sense of charity for the Vice President Education, so that she doesn't have to spend hours and hours and hours chasing down participants. So there are two ideas, and I want you to tell me what you like. One is that you would respond to these emails that look like this. So it's from Easy Speak, Leaders Worldwide, and then the subject line says Leaders Worldwide Open House and the date. When you open that, you click this. If I'm going to be there, I click that button. Excuse me, that hyperlink, and I get this picture. Oops. Anyway, so I can do it that way. Or another way I can do it is at the end of our meetings, we spend 5 minutes or less where the VPE asks the members present, do you want to be the evaluator? Do you want to be the table topics master, etc., etc.? So have I made myself pretty clear? You can either do it through responding to that email, which it doesn't happen enough.
So you mean that if we don't respond to the email, we're going to have to spend time at our meeting? That's what you really mean. Okay. So,
and I'm asking you what you want. And once again, this is only a half the club. So just tell me what you want, and it's not the final decision. What do you think?
Do you want to, so ask them a question that they can raise their hand for. So do you want to respond to the email? If you're willing to respond to the email, raise your hand. And if you want to take 5 minutes at the end of the meeting, raise your hand. You'd rather do that? Okay. Okay.
All right.
Great.
Okay. Very good.
Let's do that, and we'll do that for both sessions.
Yeah.
And we'll just do it for 2 weeks
course,
from today. Yeah. Great.
Yeah,
We used to do that. But we thought you could be responsible enough to answer the email, but I guess you don't want to. So, okay, great. Thank
Well,
you.
Cynthia, the thing is that people get so many emails that it's very difficult sometimes to know where the email is.
Yeah.
And then you have to go through this. And many clubs, or all the clubs that I know of, go through at least some of the roles after the meeting. And then the rest is, you fill in. So
okay, now we know what you want. We'll prepare that.
Okay, so thank you very much, all. Thank you very much. And we only have a few minutes for takeaways. And would you like to do that, Cynthia? Ms.
Sure. Sure. Elios, would you like to share your takeaway? What are you taking away from this meeting today, Elios?
Can we stop sharing the screen? Yes, please.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Oops.
Elios? Maybe he doesn't. Do you have a microphone?
You know, he's working.
Okay. Okay. Never mind. Okay. So Mary, you were our evaluator, but you're also a guest. What did you think of the meeting as a guest?
It was a great meeting, of course. I totally enjoyed it. And that's the reason why I'm going to join you guys. I totally enjoyed it.
Awesome. Awesome. And Curtis Greaves, did you want to share with us what you thought of the meeting?
Hey, hi again, Cynthia and everyone. It was enjoyable as usual. It's kind of ironic. I was grammarian at my home club last Wednesday, and my word of the day was empathy as well. I thought it was interesting that Sally and I chose the same word back to back. But yeah, really enjoyed the meeting as usual. Thanks again for having me.
Awesome. And Gloria, our guest, Oh, I forgot to give you chocolates. Oh, I'm falling down. Okay, Curtis, would you like a chocolate?
Sure, why not? I take a mixed box, some dark chocolate, white chocolate, caramel, and some nuts.
Oh, chocolate, caramel, and nuts. Okay, here it comes. 1, 2, 3. Woo!
Got it. Thank you.
And let's see, Mary, would you like your chocolate? I forgot to give you virtual chocolate.
Yes, yes.
Okay, here it comes. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Catch
Thank
it. Awesome, awesome. And Seema, what did you think of the meeting? You're a guest and then you're going to be coming back as a member.
I thought the speeches were exceptional, very, and the table topics very entertaining and enlightening, as usual.
Great, great, awesome. And would you like a chocolate or some other just luscious dessert?
Oh, how about a New York style cheesecake?
Oh, yummy. Here it comes. It's a little dense. Here you go. And Denise Ray, how did you like the meeting? Oh, you're on mute. Ah, there you go.
Tech savvy, not tech savvy. So I just my name is Denise De Gregoire. I heard about Toastmasters in 1990, actually, after I took a Dale Carnegie class that my dad sent me to after college. And I have been wanting to join ever since. And today was the first time that I clicked on the Anna Marie Von Corey had sent something over, and I had clicked on it like, but this is the first time that I jumped on, and absolutely fabulous. Fabulous. Everything about it. I learned a lot today. Yeah, just, I'm going to wrap it up with say I loved it. So I would love to be a part of your crew.
Awesome, awesome. And can you private message me to give me your phone number and your email?
Go on, sorry.
And I'll contact you directly.
Okay, perfect. I did the registration and that's where I am. So
yeah, on the registration, but I'll see if I can get it out of there. Sworna, will I be able to get it out of there?
No.
Denise, if you can do that for her, she's a little technical challenged also. If you could give that to her in her chat, that'd be great.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to intend on doing that. I was saying that was my first step. I went in.
Yeah.
Meeting. So now anything you need, I will send that to you and I'll figure out, like I said, tech savvy, not tech savvy. So I will figure out how to do that.
Okay, let me just give you a private message here.
Oh, great.
Denise. Okay, great.
Okay.
I'll just say hi, and then I'll give you my email address too, so we can connect. And if you could give me your email connect, I'll follow up with you.
Yeah.
We used to take a Google form, but it was a bit cumbersome, but now we have a hard time connecting with you. So here's my email address. There, cynthia.dtm.com. Okay, would you like a chocolate, a virtual chocolate?
I would. I lost you here, but let's see here. Where did I? Yes, I can't. There you are. Yes, I am actually, today it's really hot today, so a popsicle would be great.
Ooh, what kind?
Rainbow ones, the red, white.
Oh, yes, the missiles. The missiles. Oh, I love those ones. Here you go. It's a little bit drippy. 1, 2, 3, woo!
Ooh, I caught it.
There you go. Yeah, and if you can send me an email. Just copy what I sent in your private chat. Just copy it to something else before we end the call. And I can email you back and give you information, and we can have a talk about our club. And maybe you want to speak on TED, do our TEDx. We're going to be doing a TEDx at our club. You don't have to do it, but it's a wonderful thing to think about sharing. Okay, great. Well, it has been wonderful talking with all of you, and great speeches. Rowan, that was an excellent speech on Ultimate Frisbee. I love that you're continuing to grow that speech. And Linda, of course, happy birthday and marvelous speech, and happy birthday again.
Happy
Woo-hoo.
birthday.
Woo!
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.